So, John Samar asked me a question, and I wanted to make a video about this. He wrote, when people move their hands and their bodies, is this involuntarily? In other words, are they moving as the energy make them feel like moving? So are they in fact the one who is moving the body? Or are all these motions, mudras, etc., involuntarily completely? My second question, does all this work only when someone knows that a facilitator is working on them? If they don't know that at the current moment someone is working on them, will they feel stuff? Of course, I know that you're always asking for people's permissions, but what I'm wanting to know here is if all this is so magical as it seems, or if it has some auto-suggestion involved. If no auto-suggestion is involved and truly one doesn't have to know that someone is working on them, can you make a famous politician dance and move like at the time he or she is making a live speech? Would it work like that? To see a politician having a speech and dance with orgasm without knowing why? After all, distant healing sessions are equally effective as the in-person ones, and you don't need someone's permissions to be able to send them energy. Of course, it's not morally good, but I think that's technically, it is possible to be done. So, it's a very nice questions. So, for the first question, like the movement of the hands and the bodies, is it involuntarily? It is completely involuntarily. So, the moment you come to a camp session, you are already in the energetic field of the space. Like the facilitator, he sets up a room, a space where the session will happen, and everybody there is sharing, is like, it's like a soup, it's all blending together, and everybody is like co-creating together, and then the energy is circulating in the room. So when you lay down and the music starts, sure, the music, it has, like, it stimulates you, it has an effect on your brain waves, so it affects you. But the moment you feel the energy, you will notice this is not you doing it, in the sense that, like, if I'm now shaking my hand, it's like you're just gonna lie there and all of a sudden your hand will start to shake beyond your control, and you're just gonna be like, what's happening? My friend, he was, well, he was a bit stuck with this for a really long time, because he kept going to sessions, like 6-7 sessions, and every time he was there, he would just lie there, and then things would start to happen after a couple of sessions. Like his body would start to move, he would like make really loud sounds, like scream, or growl, or shout, or shout, I love you all, or his feet would like tremble, or his body would start to shake, or a facilitator would touch him, and there would be this pressure point that would be boiling with pain, and he would be like having this deep internal pain, and then there would be some kind of release. About that part, I don't remember exactly how it went, so maybe it wasn't like that. But anyway, what I meant was, for him, when he talked about this experience with me, he said, you know, it feels like I am all doing this. Like I'm just trying to make something happen. Like, because everybody's doing something, I'm just, you know, but it's like, no. Your body is, your body, your brain, your energy, it's receiving all, it's giving you all these impulses, and they just come. Sometimes you notice that the mind can resist the impulses. So you might feel an impulse, a really strong impulse. You don't know why, but at a certain point, you feel an impulse to do something like this, or to wave, or to shout, or whatever. But sometimes the mind might become aware, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to shout like this. I don't want people to hear me. So there's a limiting belief, a limiting an energy that's constricting the expression of the energy. So what happens is, with me, like, I had this insight. If you do mindfulness meditation, right? So if you learn mindfulness, body awareness, breathing, focusing on your breath, you will start to distinctly notice thoughts arising and passing by, feelings arising and passing by. You will start to see how everything in the body is constantly changing and moving, but because you're focused on your breath, there will be something that's fixed. It will be like rooted or anchored, right? So in that moment, you will see things that are all happening involuntarily. They just happen by themselves, right? So if you have that mindfulness awareness, if you have that distinction between this is me and these things are all happening. Like, I remember when I had that, like, whenever something will show up, like an energetic shift or an impulse, you will feel it very strongly. Because if you don't have the mindfulness awareness, it's like you're almost like identified with whatever is coming onto your screen. So it's like a thought arises, you think you're thinking it. A feeling arises, you think you're feeling it, and you have to express it. It's like there's no space between you and whatever is arising. So with mindfulness training, if you have that awareness and that distinct spaciousness, you will go to a session, and like I remember it the first time, I just laid there and immediately I felt a warm glow coming over me. My arm started to move by itself, and I realized I'm not doing it. It was like an energy that was creating a wave that was expanding in different waves and changing forms, and then the waves would change in intensity. So it is all involuntarily. And the more that you release control, because it is a practice of surrender. So if you have other practices like Qigong, Tantra, yoga, Kriya Yoga, all those things, you have to use your will, right? Kundalini Yoga, you have to use your concentration and your energy and your intent and your will to make something happen. But here at CAP, you just lie down, you close your eyes, and you just breathe. Just breathe, and stay in your body. Stay in your body and breathe. And the process the energy will work with your own energy. And your own energy will do what is needed. And for you, you will just become aware of whatever internal blocks you have or resistances to whatever wants to be expressed, because there's a judgment or a fear or whatever. There's an obstruction. So, yeah, the more CAP that you do, the more and more involuntarily the energy is going to be like just boundlessly expressing itself. At some points you may start to go into a fit of rage and express rage, or into a fit of emotion and just cry out loud. But it's just all happening. You feel like it's just all being expressed, all being released, and you're not doing it. The energy is doing it. So it's a really amazing feeling. My friend, he told me when we were doing inner dance, it's like he went into a corner and he was looking from this hole, and he was looking how the energy was doing its thing, like dancing and having all kind of mudras, doing all these kind of things. So it all happens involuntarily. So second question, does it work when somebody knows that a facilitator is working on them? So no, because sometimes in a space when you're doing CAP, when you lie down, it's a lot of people, right? The moment the session starts and the energy starts circulating in the room, if your Kundalini energy is already pretty active, right? If you're sensitive to it, even if the facilitator is standing on the other side of the room, you will feel something is happening. You can start to move. You can start to feel emotions or energy moving, or you can start to do mudras. Or sometimes the music starts, immediately my voice goes like ah, oh, and it just stays. It goes on into its own rhythm. Like I sit up and I make different sounds, lam, bam, ram, ham, yam, ham, sham, oh, like all these things. Or all of a sudden you start to do a bridge. Then when a facilitator comes to you and she starts to work on you, you just feel more of a, well, you sense her presence. It's usually a woman. You sense, like, the first thing is you smell her. You smell her, or sometimes what I notice is I'm sitting in this stillness, in this quietness, like, because these are waves. So in your process, there will be waves. Like, some process is started, there's a wave, then it calms down, and you can just sit in stillness and wait for the next wave. But sometimes it's just you sit in stillness. So you sit there, your eyes closed, or you lie there, and all of a sudden you start to feel like, first you feel the presence of the facilitator, and all of a sudden you start to feel there's a new wave happening in your energetic body. Your energy starts to go into a new pattern, into a new direction. And because of the new movement, you might start to do poses, or she might touch you at some point, and you might find this feeling of elation, like, this is so nice, this feels so good. Or you might start to cry, or you might start to feel pain, and you go deeper into whatever's blocking. It's like the facilitator, whenever she comes to you, it feels, I may be wrong, but it feels as if she's like pinpointing a certain kind of obstruction, a certain kind of blockage, and then that blockage is like being pressured to release, or it's being like given a love, or it's being allowed to melt. It's different experiences with this, but it's really amazing. So even if the facilitator is not working with you, the process is still ongoing, because it's the energy is in the room working with everybody. So you will feel it, and it's also with virtual. So like, even if, like, you can have your own experiences at home, even without a facilitator. Like in inner dance, we learn this. It's like, by using the music, you stimulate certain brain waves to have like 12 steps of transformation. And when that happens, your own energy and your own process gets activated. The difference with Kappa is you're getting a transmission, right? So you're being activated. So it's a bit different. But yeah, it is magical, and I don't think it's auto-suggestion, because you will feel it. Like, if you've never gone to a session, just go once or twice or three times, you will feel it. And you will, like my friend, he thought in the beginning, this is all, like, this cannot be real. There must be on it, because he saw the facilitator was doing a demo. She just put on a song, she activated the energy, and all of a sudden, like, I was doing a bridge, and I was shouting, and he was like, whoa, this is so, like, and people are looking like, whoa, it's like, it goes so high in intensity all of a sudden. Is it real? Or is he doing that? But I'm not doing that. It just happens. So, if no auto-suggestion is involved, and truly one doesn't have to know that someone is working on them, can you make a famous politician dance and move? Would it work like that? Well, honestly, I have no idea, because I'm not a CAF facilitator. So what I do know is you have to be receptive to the energy. You have to, when you come to a session, right, it's like you're already aligned to have a session, right? It's like you're in the energetic field of the session, because sometimes before a session, you might already feel things shifting, because your body knows, or your energy knows, that what's gonna happen. It's anticipating it. So things might already start to shift. Things might come up that need to be worked out or released through in the session. And what's interesting is, in the session, there are people who are, like, there's gradations of sensitivity. I wouldn't say that there's like levels of development or sensitivity, but you see some people, they move. Some people, they make a lot of sounds. Some people, they dance ecstatically. Some people, they do light language. It all differs. And you see, what you notice is there's a certain kind of not difference, but it's like you see people with whom the energy is really loose. And so after doing a couple of sessions, in the beginning you might just lie down. Like a facilitator, she told me she was just lying down and she just felt like this contracting in the stomach. And she thought, did I really just pay 50 euros to have this massage in my stomach, this contraction in my stomach? And the thing is, after a couple of sessions, the energy becomes more and more active because the energy waves are being cleared and the energy can stream through more, and the expression can be more, let's say, fully expressed. So the energy can express itself more fully and use your body and your human instrument more fully. And so your intensity might change. You might start to do new things. So what you're talking about, like, I don't know if it would work on somebody who is not sensitive to it. If he has, like, I don't know, like if he's not really sensitive to it, would he be able to be activated from a distance? Perhaps not. But why would somebody do that? Like, why would you want to do that? I know in virtual cap, like a facilitator told me, like, we don't even have to like call. We can just like agree, like at 6 o'clock we're gonna do a cap session and I'm just gonna start transmitting the energy at 6 o'clock and you're gonna be at home and you're gonna receive it. So you can receive it like that. I haven't done it yet, but I know with virtual cap and virtual inner dance, the energy works. So if there is a facilitator and participants, it's like there's an interaction happening. The energy is using both to have whatever is needed to happen. This is all, you use the words healing sessions a lot, right? And you say you need someone's permission to send them energy and it's morally good. You see, in inner dance, they talked about how we shouldn't like classify ourselves as healers, because the person is merely a conduit for energy. The person is allowing the energy to come through him and support the process of the participant. And the facilitator, like through his own personality, through his own configuration, is like instinctively, intuitively, with like while channeling the energy, is like intuitively working, doing energy body work. But like a facilitator told me this, like in the beginning, she was in her head trying to make things happen because she saw people were not moving, or she wanted things to happen like in the energy. So she was pushing it a little bit, and she said the people always said like they had headaches afterwards, and now she just trusts it. She just trusts the energy to come through and to just do whatever is needed and to not push it, and to trust that energy knows more than you, it knows better than you. You have to trust the movement, because it is about surrender. It's about surrendering to the energy. Now, why would you want to send it to a politician while doing a speech and give him some kind of experience? Like, I can imagine if that politician would have a very sensitive energy, like a very active kundalini energy, and he would be receiving transmission from one or several facilitators. Who knows? Who knows what might happen? I don't know. But why would you? Like this energy, it's non-dual energy, so it's love energy, God energy. It's the energy, well, that's how a facilitator explains it. Like she uses those terms: God energy, love energy, non-dual energy. But these are all words, right? Because when you are in this field, when you're working with this energy, you will notice that the energy is supporting your process. And the people that are there, they're there because, I mean, there are different reasons. Some people want to heal. Some people want to release something. Some people want to get aligned. Some people want answers. Some people want to go out of their confusion. Some people want to go deeper into themselves. Like, it's all very sincere work. Like, I don't know if people go there for fun or for entertainment or, you know, to just have an experience. But most people are sincerely there, like, to, you know, to feel alive, to, yeah. And it's beyond entertainment purposes. It feels like, I don't want to say sacred work, but it feels very like a ritual, like something that you do to support each other, out of goodness, out of kindness, out of love. And yeah, why would you want to you know, do that on a politician to create some effect? But I can understand it. It might look very funny if all of a sudden somebody would start to have some kind of reaction on tape, but we would laugh, and then we would like, that was fun, that was very funny, because it was very uncomfortable for that person. And then what? And then what, right? Because essentially it's all about you. It's all about your process. It's all about how am I in relationship to this? How do I want to use this modality in my life, right? For me, because I had a lot of time and a lot of space, I thought I want to exhaust this. I want to use this modality to exhaust whatever I can get with it. So to go as deep as I can. And there's a lot of things that came up. Releasing of traumas, healing of traumas, releasing of past life issues, ancestral blockages, ancestral issues, visions about my life purpose, visions about light beings, angels, visions about my future life. So much, like it's very interesting. Like, my diet has changed. Honestly, my sense of feeling myself, it's so different now than it was before. And I'm really grateful for it, because I feel so alive. I feel so connected. I feel so, yeah, just on. Sadhguru, he talks about this. He's like, you know, whatever we're doing in our lives, whether it be going to a bar, going to have some fun with some girls, going to football, drinking alcohol, chasing whatever we're chasing, like whatever we're doing it because we want to feel more alive, right? We want to feel alive. And we think or we believe that doing those things, we will feel more alive. But we're using those external sources to feel alive. And it's like your happiness, right, with life, it doesn't depend on what you have or what you don't have. It depends on the context. According to Sadhguru, it depends on the context. It's how do you contextualize your life? Because you have people who have everything, but because their context is a certain way, they're not happy, right? And you have people who have not a lot, but because their context is different, their interpretation, the way they perceive and feel things, they're happy, they're content, they're giving, they're full of life, they're enjoying. Is like the context, it allows you to either be constricted, suppressed, or open, gentle, alive, fully expressing your energy, trusting your impulses, trusting whatever comes up in you, and going with those movements, going with those energetic impulses, and trusting that, because energy knows more than you, energy knows better than you. because your mind is always limited by what you know and by what you have been through. So you basically, according to Sadhguru, you can only make a remix of what has gone on before, and try to make some new or like improved version or remixed version, right? But the energy can create something completely new, something beyond what you think of, that has nothing to do with your self-concept, with your self-image of who you think you are. There's a quote by Lao Tzu that says, "When I let go of who I am, I become who I might be." Like, letting go of who I am, it's a very deep process. But thank you so much for your question. It was really fun to answer it. And yeah, if you have any other questions, just go ahead. But I will ask it. I will ask if somebody has ever done a CAP facilitation while watching live TV and done it on a person. And I'll let you know if they have. Also, your other inquiry and your other question about like doing a blind study, like I'll definitely ask that, because it's a really interesting idea. Because if we could somehow prove that CAP really is effective and have evidence for it, this could be really popular, and maybe it will be commercialized, but it would become very mainstream, because it's a modality that goes beyond the thinking, that goes into energy, into emotions, into your being. It's amazing. Of course, it probably also works with your thinking. Like, my knowledge about CAP, everything that I say, like, I can be wrong, right? I only know what I know from my own experience. So I'm limited by my experience in the things that I say about it, and I think about it, and the way I perceive about it. So don't take my word for it. Just go to a session and try, and live and learn from your experience, and let me know how it was for you. Try a virtual CAP session if you don't want to do an in-person one, but try to do 2, 3, 4 at least, because then you will notice after 3, 4 sessions the energy really gets activated. All right, thank you so much.